Tonight, students deal with the stresses of finals.
And what WSU Foundations is helping student organizations with, coming up on Murrow News 8.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Kayla Bautista.
And I'm Nathan Simpf. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
As the semester comes to a close, WSU faculty and students are feeling the increased amount of pressure and stress. Reporter Kanara Heinke comes to us now with the full story.
With the 2019 spring semester coming to a close, it's not hard to find staff and students dealing with an extreme amount of added pressures and stress. Director of Student Services of the Murrow College, Sarah Stout, says she sees a definite increase in student stress post-spring break.
So at the end of both semesters, whether it's fall or spring semester, after midterms, we see an increased number of students that report anxiety and stress and depression, that type of thing, or just being generally overwhelmed with school.
Stout also sees a majority increase in stress in juniors and seniors due to having larger assignments and project-based courses.
I'm definitely really stressed. My finals coming up, my exams, my papers, just managing my time, making sure I get everything done.
Tapasio says she studies about 2 to 3 hours a day and tries to find different ways to relieve her stress and find time for herself.
I find it hard to go to class, because I feel like I need more time for myself to get normal things done throughout the day, including schoolwork.
Although it's easy to feel bogged down by the stress as the school year comes to an end, there are, however, many different outlets and opportunities readily available on campus. Tonight, the Cub will be hosting Smash Away Stress, where students can relieve their stress through video games. Next week, the Rec will be offering free classes, and the Cub will be giving out free meals. With videographer Curtis Russell, I'm Kanara Heinke, Murrow News 8.
Have you ever wondered how student organizations collect funding? The WSU Foundation is creating a program just for that. Nathan Semp has more on how the program will help student organizations.
Student organizations on campus, like Cougs in Space, have had a hard time getting proper funding.
As a club that we're really trying to get to space all on our own, we're all student-led, it is very hard to get the amount of funding we need because space is very expensive.
But now the WSU Foundation is creating a pilot program for student organizations to raise money for themselves, called Coug Starter, rolling out in October.
The main purpose of Coug Starter is really to educate people about philanthropy, but an opportunity for students to have that opportunity to have their own voice and promote their organization, promote their values and their vision, and along the way they'll be able to crowdfund for a conference or a satellite, something that they're working on.
Cougs in Space is a test organization putting the foundation as support, but not putting up barriers on how to fund them.
We have a lot of students and we really try to support all of our students. So having WSU giving us a route to being able to do our own funding, that we're very much independent, but they are very much backing us up, is a really nice feeling as well.
Cougs in Space is one of 4 student organizations to start on this platform, but many more can be added to the list. If you would like to join this list, go to the website and apply for help. I am Nathan Semp, Murrow News 8. The Pullman Police Department is not the only department dealing with officer shortages, causing police to be spread too thin. Moscow Police Department has 6 openings, which is the most openings in 24 years. Moscow PD is looking to grab the community's attention by upping the officer pay. Moscow Chief of Police James Fry says the community is top priority and is trying to fill the spots as best the department can. And getting a drink at a bar may be fun, but bartenders see a different side. Justin Spinney has more on how bartenders on the Palouse keep themselves safe.
Valhalla, Stubblefields, the Coug, all great pieces of WSU's culture where people should feel safe, but sometimes the people in the most danger are the people who work there. A study by the Bureau of Justice Statistics showed that bartending poses the 3rd highest danger of any employment for non-fatal violence behind security guards and law enforcement.
I did have coworkers, and there were guys who would come in who would flirt in aggressive ways.
We've been warned, when you leave, cover your clothes or your uniform, don't really tell people what your tips are, that kind of thing, because it's heard that people can actually be jumped.
Bartenders often receive little or no training on how to resolve a violent situation.
If there's a fight that breaks out, do we have a de-escalation strategy, aka what do we do? Do we get between them? Do we call the cops? What do we do?
Lauren Taylor directs Safe Bars, an organization that trains bar staff on how to foster a safe environment.
Intersection of alcohol and sexual assaults pretty much occurs in bars, restaurants, and frats. So we just thought it would be a logical place to, create safety for community.
The best policy is for everyone to work together.
One thing is we definitely have to be a team.
Stepping up and saying something or just asking someone a question doesn't really, is no cost to you, but if you fail to, then it could be a very high cost to the people involved.
Justin Spinney, Murrow News 8.
When we come back, we take a look at the WSU fashion show.
And we show you what Hindu holiday was celebrated last month when Murrow News 8 returns.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Welcome back. Style is a way to say who you are without having to speak. Kayla Bautista explains what inspires AMDT students here at WSU.
After months of planning and hundreds of hours working, WSU's Department of Apparel, Merchandising, Design, and Textile students hosted their 36th annual Moms Weekend fashion show, Emerge. Students say not just anyone has what it takes to be an AMDT student.
You have to have a drive and willing to do the work, because it is a lot of work, but it's fun.
It has taken me over 450 hours since the first week of school to complete my entire collection.
Although all of the designers focus on the Emerge theme, each collection is unique and has a different meaning to each of the designers.
It shows a lot of diversity. There's a lot of different collections, different styles, and it's kind of cool to see different perspectives and how all of our students kind of take what they think emerges to them and portray it.
Some senior designers feel all of their struggles over the years has molded them into the designers they are today. Others say their experience of becoming a designer has inspired them artistically and as an individual.
It's as though or all of the senior designers are kind of emerging from this cocoon of, like, we've been studying for, at this point, I think most of us are at 4 years. We've created many different garments for different classes. We're kind of at this culminating point, and we're emerging, per se, from a chrysalis and now becoming a butterfly.
For me, it's kind of like finally coming out of my shell, finally coming out as like who I am as a designer and who I am as just a human in general, emerging from that once very naive, very kind of like confused and lost human to this strong, powerful person.
Students say they feel all of their hard work and nights of staying up late working on their designs after 4 years is finally paying off.
I think it's just going to be so rewarding, and I'll be able to sit there and recognize, wow, all the time that I spent, all of the days that I did not sleep and the times that I forgot to eat because I was sewing. Everything that I have done has been worth it, and there are beautiful people wearing my beautiful clothes, and all is right with the world.
I'm so excited for the show itself, probably. I'm really excited to see everyone's models all done up, going down the runway. I'm excited to see my humans just kind of work it and have fun.
Senior designer Madison Norman says she was inspired by an old French superstition called Dance Macabre, which means the dance of death.
It focuses on the universality of just death and life and everyone, that no matter who you are, where you've been, what you look like, the one thing that unites humanity as a whole, as morbid as it may sound, is the fact that we're born, we live, and we die. So, embrace who you are.
Students say in fashion, it's okay not to follow norms, and that is what makes them so passionate about being a designer, the ability to express themselves how they please.
I'm not trying to go for some cookie cutter basic model that has always been traditionally used in the past. I want everyone and anyone to feel that they can wear my clothing.
Kayla Bautista, Murrow News 8. Last month, the Indian Student Association celebrated an ancient holiday here in Pullman. Reporter Kanara Heinke has more on what they celebrated.
On March 31st, Rini Street Park was filled with residents and students celebrating an ancient Hindu festival called Holi. Individuals attending the event covered themselves in neon colors and participated in a feast that signified the arrival of spring.
The festival is it's the festival of colors, it's the festival of joy. It is behind a goddess named Holika.
The 3-hour event hosted by the Indian Student Association welcomed 150 people of all ages excited to celebrate Holi and participate in the various activities the event offered.
At the start of the event, we had water balloons, we had all pitchkari throwing colors on each other, and then we used colors, powder to throw on each other. So it's all about fun.
As the semester comes to an end, the current ISA committee is preparing to leave their positions. However, they hope the oncoming committee will help to expand the association's events in the future.
Not sure how we're going to plan it next year, but we might incorporate some more elements. We might make a little bigger event with many people can come in. So that's one thing we would possibly do.
The Festival of Colors is celebrated every year all over the world and will only continue to expand here in Pullman. Kanara Heinke, Murrow News 8.
When we come back, we'll take a look at the movie event that Pullman has eagerly been waiting for.
And I give you an update on this week's weather. Stay with us, Pullman.
Get caught buzz driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom. It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Avengers Endgame opens tonight. Elijah Clayton joins us live from Village Center Cinema in Pullman with more. Hey, Eli.
Hey, Kayla. I'm here at Village Center Cinema, where lines are just starting to form for the first showings of Avengers Endgame. Now, Pullman and the rest of the nation have been buzzing about this event all week long, and tonight is the night. Marvel fans can't wait.
Marvel fans have been waiting over a year to see what happens after Thanos snapped his fingers and erased half the universe.
Village Center Cinema in Pullman is anticipating large crowds with over 7 sold-out showings tonight. Many Cougs are excited for the premiere.
Yeah, so I got my tickets. I've been waiting for like a year. I'm super excited.
I'm really excited to see the movie, but I didn't get my tickets now, so I'm going to have to see it this weekend.
Oh, I'm super excited for Endgame. I mean, this is the culmination of like 20-something films. It's going to be huge. Everyone's going to be there. Who knows what's going to happen? Thanos, he's got the Infinity Stones, but the Avengers always get something up their sleeves. You never know what's going to happen.
Now, people have been telling me that they've been avoiding their social media in fear that any part of this movie is going to be spoiled for them. And employees here tell me that they also have extra staff and extra concessions on hand, all in preparation for Pullman to assemble. I can't wait to see what happens, just like everybody else. Kayla, back to you.
That's Elijah Clayton reporting live from Village Center Cinemas. Thanks, Eli. This week has been full of sunshine, and I even got to bring out my sandals today. Nathan, will spring weather come this weekend?
Well, yes, the spring weather will continue. It's a perfect day. It's not too hot, not too cold, but it's just right, and you may just need a light jacket. So today is about 66 degrees. We got some sunshine for you, and it's continuing for the day tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to be in about the warmth of today, and keeping on with that, we might be some windy gusts coming up from the west side of the state, bringing us some cooler temperatures, but pretty much warm. And then we're going to go to the pollen levels, and as you can see, the pollen levels across the Palouse are very, very moderate, and tree pollen is the most that we're seeing around the region. And then we go to the next thing, the state map, and the state map shows that most of the region is staying pretty warm and dry. And then we're going to the state as well to talk about droughts, because it's about that time of the year where we start talking about spring rainfall. Even though we had spring rainfall so far, most of the state is in an abnormally dry pattern. And then we go to the 5-day forecast and check out what we're expecting for the next week. And the next week says that we're going to see some rain popping in with some wind. So back to you at the desk.
When we come back, we'll tell you about the Cougar football player who's waiting to hear his name called in Nashville.
And Noah Schmick will let you on the Pullman Hospital program that's helping local high school athletes. When Murrow News 8 continues.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning, 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash, 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Noah Schmick with your sports update. The first round of the NFL draft is underway, and one Washington State football player is waiting to hear his name be called. Cougar offensive tackle Andre Dillard is currently in Nashville, Tennessee at the first round of the NFL draft, and has came a long way from being a two-star high school recruit in the town of Woodinville, Washington. Dillard is projected to be a middle of the first round pick, but could be a top 10 pick thanks to his pass blocking skills. In the last 20 years, only Ryan Leaf, Marcus Trufant, and Dayon Buchanan have been the only WSU players to be picked up in the first round. Last year, WSU lost a member of our family. Former Director of Strength and Conditioning David Lang passed away suddenly last spring. His passing impacted the entire Cougar community. Elijah Clayton has more.
Once in a while, there's a person that has a life-changing impact on everyone they interact with. David Lang was one of those people.
He was a mentor for me and for all my teammates. He was just not a coach. He was way more than that. He was a friend that we could talk to.
Coach Lang, as so many knew him, was so impactful because he cared about everyone who worked with him.
If you took the time to actually talk to him, he was probably one of the most caring people you could ever meet, and made sure that everything was going right with you, that, you know, outside of work, outside of school, hey, how's everything going? You know?
Coach Lang's desire to see people succeed did not end once they graduated.
I left the winter of 2016 to go do a couple internships, but he stayed in contact with me like throughout my whole time.
There are two words that come to mind when people who knew Coach Lang think about what they would say to him now.
Thank you.
I think the biggest thing is thank you. Like, he kind of shaped the way that I am pursuing my life.
David Lang died suddenly of a heart attack on February 24th of last year. His sudden passing sent a shockwave through the Cougar family. This clip from a tribute video is the last time they heard his voice.
When the game is done, you will have the ability to look at yourself in the mirror knowing you have given everything you have. Have you prepared mentally, physically, emotionally for this day? Have you taken care of yourself, given your body the rest that is needed? Have you made sure to hydrate, to eat with a performance mindset? Today is physically carrying out what you have prepared for mentally your entire career.
Elijah Clayton, Murrow, News 8.
Thanks so much for that story, Eli. Washington State women's tennis survived and advanced in the Pac-12 tennis championships yesterday, but failed to beat the #1 seeded Stanford Cardinal today. The Cougs took an early lead against Colorado yesterday, leading them to a 4-0 victory over the Buffalo, but that's as far as they went. The Cougars faced #1 seeded Stanford just a few hours ago, putting up a tough fight but losing to the Cardinal. The Cougs finished with 19 wins and 10 losses on the season and will await a possible invitation to the NCAA Women's Tennis Championships on Monday. Now we switch gears to another sport that can draw a crowd. Jennifer Powers went to Odessa, Washington to find out more about the Desert 100 dirt bike race.
Every year, the small town of Odessa, Washington, population 876, floods with people from across the state for the Desert 100, a 4-day dirt bike racing paradise that consists of a 100-mile track and around 1,500 racers. Sandy Jaquish has been coming to the races for years, both as a spectator and a racer.
And when you fly through the air and you've got that weight underneath you and you can do stuff with the bike in the air, it's just a cool sensation.
The Stump Jumpers Motorcycle Club started the Desert 100 in 1970, making this year the 49th annual event. Racers filled the campground, creating the biggest town in Lincoln County for 4 days, breaking the previous attendance record. Nearly 5,000 people of all ages come to race, watch, and enjoy. Neil Stamp, the Desert 100 race chairman, says there's no other race like this one.
Pretty historic race. There's not any other races around that are like it. We had a mile long of the racers lined up, ready for the cannon that I fired, and everybody had to run to their bike, start their bike, and take off, all for the whole shot. There's no other race like it.
That's exactly what keeps these racers coming back for more. Next year will be the 50th annual race, where dirt bike riders will travel to the small town of Odessa once again to see who will champion the Desert 100.
Pullman Regional Hospital is making quite a difference in high school sports in the Palouse region. I went to find out more on the hospital's most influential programs.
20 minutes south of Pullman is the small town of Colton. High school sports serve as the main meeting place for residents. Colton High School's total enrollment puts them in the smallest sports classification in Washington. But that doesn't mean certified athletic trainer Kai Suzuki has an easy job before sporting events.
Well, I'll have a line of 12 to 15 kids that are out the door just coming in for a quick stretch or some advice, or sometimes just to steal ice or water or ask for something. And it's a pretty intense first 45 minutes. And then as they go out to their sport, I go out with them.
Suzuki is part of Pullman Hospital's regional high school athletic training program. The program sends certified athletic trainers to rural schools on the Palouse that can't afford the expenses of their own full-time trainer. Chief Executive Officer Scott Adams says the program connects the hospital on a more personal level with the people it serves.
We're out in each community helping them raise money
to support the athletic training program in their community.
Now, the Pullman Regional High School Athletic Training Program by Pullman Regional Hospital not only helps Colton, but it also helps Potlatch, Garfield Palouse, and Pullman school districts that serves more than 750 kids in the Palouse region.
We know everyone doesn't get this opportunity to have a trainer on site for every practice and every game, so we're pretty grateful, and we appreciate it.
The cost for each school is based on student population, and the program relies on community donations to fund half of its cost. Chief Development Officer Ruben Mays says the trainers are an investment by the foundation to protect high school athletes and build better communities.
So we're investing in people that are solving problems and providing safer environment for our high school athletes, as well as they're great people and they're making a difference.
For Colton specifically, Sajiki watches over injured players, tapes up wounds, stretches out cramps, and oversees every sport played at Colton High. Sajiki watched the girls basketball team win the 2019 1B state championship last winter, but says he was most happy about the trust he developed between both the athletes and the parents.
If they trust you to watch over them, they're giving you an honor and a privilege, and I need to do the best work that I can to make sure that I take care of them well. But Mom and Dad know that my primary objective is not a win or a loss, it's the health of their athletes.
Peter Schulteis is a 2017 graduate of Colton High. He says that having a certified athletic trainer watching over every practice and game made him feel more comfortable as a high school athlete.
I didn't have the idea of getting hurt and not having anybody to help me in the back of my mind, so it was definitely a help to have him around.
Sajiki says the best thing about the program is the amount of access he has straight to the surgeons without any wait.
I can text one of these amazing, surgeons and say, I'm really concerned about this ankle, and can you help me with this? And the answer is yes. Every time the answer is, yeah, bring it in, let me look at it.
From building better communities to monitoring the health and safety of high school athletes, the certified athletic trainers of Pullman Regional Hospital are making a difference in rural communities. Noah Schmick, Murrow News 8. When we come back, we'll celebrate a special birthday when Murrow News 8 returns.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun? Whoa, 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 can you feel the sun?
To end the show, we'd like to give a special shout out to the man who gave the WSU College of Communication a name. Edward R. Murrow would have turned 111 years old today. We also want to give a shout out to a slightly younger man who allows us to be here on camera every day. Happy birthday to our professor, Connolly Roden. Thank you for watching tonight, and be sure to watch our live newscast on nwpb.org/MN8 and on Cable 8 at 7 and 10.
Don't forget you can also follow Murrow News 8 on Facebook and Twitter.
Have a good night.